I had met a gal who was a counselor, and I was sifting through some stuff, and I had gone to see her. And on a particularly hopeful day, I went bounding into her office, and I said, her name was Tana, Tana, I believe today, if I wanted to be president of the United States, and I started working today to be president of the United States, one day I would indeed be president of the United States. And she looked at me and she said, Robin, you really need to know your limitations. And my heart just sunk. It just sunk. And I thought, surely she must be right. She's the professional, right? And I believed her. I believed that I had to be mindful of my limitations. I ended up going back to college. About 5 years later, the tables turned. I was the counselor on the opposite side of the desk, and I've had a great career for the last 26 years helping to build amazing programs in my community. But I had a girl one day come bounding into my office, beautiful young lady. She had just gotten out of prison, actually, for drugs. And she said to me, Robin, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to get custody of my son back, and I'm going to buy a house in Seattle. I'm going to get a great job. And you know what I said to her? I looked at her and I said, Susan, you really need to know your limitations. I bought the ticket. I got on the ride, and I was selling it to everybody else. And what I learned from that experience is that once you're armed with the truth, there is nothing you can't do. About a year later, I got a phone call, and they told me there was someone in the lobby waiting for me, and I went up there, and here was Susan. And with her, she had 2 young men, and she had a set of keys. And she, with tears in her eyes, she said to me, Robin, look, these were the guys I was telling you about. And I knew right then, full circle, the only limits that we have are those limits that we put on ourselves.
What sets Robin apart is her life experiences, how she's dealt with those, and how she continues to find the positive in every situation.
She's very inspiring and motivating in ways to change your life.
Her personality, her genuineness, when you're talking to her, she could be speaking to a room full of people, but you feel like you're the only one in the room.
I love to be a speaker because I love to connect with people. I love to teach. I love to learn. And I believe that my story is a similar story for many other people. You know, when I think about the first half of my life, I could tell you about my life with maybe 5 words. And it sounds something like this. Poverty, domestic violence, addiction, darkness, and sadness. I really am not afraid to make myself vulnerable and let people know who I am from the inside out. And I think a lot of times that's hard for speakers, especially when they are business leaders, and maybe they're afraid to put themselves out there in that way. So 5 words to describe my life today: joyful, abundant, happy, prosperous, and I'm surrounded by more love than I ever could have hoped for. There is a mighty pair of shoes made only and just for you. So the question is, will you step into those shoes and walk forward, or will you play small and live a life of mediocrity? The choice is your own. I love to talk about overcoming adversity and the power of positive thinking, and I believe that everybody has unlimited potential. The only limits that we have are the ones that we set for ourselves. For more information, go to www.optimistsedge.com.